Ah, welcome traveler. Come in, take a seat and put up your feet. Today, we're diving into a game called Foundation, a gridless medieval city building game, where we will be cooking up some roleplay to enhance the gameplay. This is part 7 in our multi-part series, and if you'd like to see more of this, please like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Let's get cooking. And so we're back in Temporia. In the previous episode, we went ahead and moved all of our production buildings over through to the working districts over on our island city now. And we went ahead and also constructed the central manor as well. Now, with that being done, we're left with a lot of space over here on the mainland again. And there are a lot of buildings that, due to some restructuring of our industries and some small hiccups and hurdles here and there with production that we had along the way, we have some buildings that need to upgrade again. But we'll get over those really quickly as our industries have stabilized and our money income is also looking really good at the moment. But we need to think of something to do with this open land now. And with that, I think what we're going to do is actually expand our farms. So we'll expand our wheat farm over here into this area. And we'll look at perhaps doing the same for this little piece of land here as well. Now, another thing to look at is that we may as well go ahead and build a bridge going across from here to here, connecting our housing district with our island city, so that our people can travel a lot quicker than having to take this road over here and going through this bridge. So I'm going to quickly look at throwing down a quick design for a bridge over here, and then we'll be right back. And there we are, a nice little bridge design over here, connecting our two different districts, our mainland and our island, with another bridge as well. We did need to go ahead and adjust some of the placement for the warehouses here, but that's okay, we can come in and tidy that up afterwards. And we unfortunately did have to remove some houses that were blocking the path over here. But that's okay, plenty more houses are being built, and hopefully as soon as this is constructed, let's just put the walls onto top priority so that they can offer the necessary fortification bonus that will be required for us to make sure that these houses are actually getting this bonus here for the housing density. Now, once that is completed, we can have a look at constructing some more things. But for the time being, we're just going to be planning out, not really building yet, but just planning out where our farms will be in these two sectors. Another thing I want to have a look at is going over here through to our royal book, go through to the trade routes, and unlocking another trade route with the Kinstone Abbey. The thriving Abbey of Kinstone seeks the betterment of all followers of the faith. Well, I definitely want to unlock this because we get to trade hops with them and berries. We're not really going to buy anything from them, but we are going to sell quite a lot to them, especially once our abbey is constructed. We're going to start producing wine and selling the wine to them at 5 gold per unit. So we're just going to go ahead and unlock this trade route for the time being, and we'll have a look over here. All of the rest of them seem to be level 3. This one's level 2, so we might also look at just upgrading some of our trade routes as well. We'll have to wait before we can actually unlock this one. We'll need to get these up here, the kingdom influence. We are generating clergy influence a little bit through quests, and our labor influence is also increasing drastically through quests as well. But nothing yet for kingdom influence because we have not yet gone down through that tech tree of the castle. So we will get this eventually, but not for the time being. Then we can go over, jump through to our mandates, have a look here. Most of these are way too expensive for us for the time being, but we'll get there eventually. I want to do these improvements to the trade routes. It'll definitely be worth it for us. And we are generating a good amount of money at the moment, which is also great. We'll just welcome some more people. We can go through to our buildings, have a look where we require any workers. It seems that we only need them in the breweries at the moment, which are located inside the taverns. So we don't really need that at the moment. We have plenty of brewers working already there. So I might just hold on to these workers for the time being. And what I'm actually going to assign them to is to the farms that we're going to construct here and here in our two open pieces of land. Now I want to make use of this instead of spreading out further, because if we spread out further we're going to need to build additional housing districts. But if we build our farms nice and close to these two housing districts, our people won't have to travel too far and we won't have to do even more construction. I just need to figure out a nice way to actually plan this out and think if we're going to put in 2, maybe 3 farms in each of these spaces. We'll see and we'll plan out and also work out where the roads will possibly go around here. And we will figure out how the roads will run by making use of, again, the village fences. But once again, let's just let this bridge complete, let that finish building, so that our builders can focus on one thing at a time. And we'll be back as soon as this is finished. And there we are. The bridge is now completed. Although we did have to shift some things around, and there were a couple of errors and bugs that popped up with the wall construction. So I did have to go edit it just to get around those bugs. I had to move this part up there, close that off, and remove this so that it no longer mirrors this side. And I had to slightly adjust this side as well. Seems to be some kind of bug with the outside wall where builders can't get to certain parts of it if you've got multiple walls intersecting. I'm not quite sure what it is, but we did finally at least get it finished. So, next on the menu, well, we're going to have a look at setting up the farms over here. I think we're going to do some wheat farms. And then another thing I want to look at is going here into the progression tab and unlocking this, the city belfry. There we go. That has now been unlocked. So we can jump over to here, and I believe it is a part of this actually. Yes, there we go. So it's actually a part of the city market. So we go and we select the city belfry, and there it is. And we can add this onto a building, for example, slotting it onto a space like that. And this will boost the buildings around it. So we're just going to say build all for that, and we're going to do this with each one of our markets. We're just going to add a belfry on just to boost the surrounding buildings and add some happiness to our villagers. Right, so while I get that set up, we'll be right back, and then hopefully we'll have a farm design laid out as well. There we go. 2 additional wheat farms have been set up here. We're just going to let these build, and then we're actually going to have a look if they are indeed big enough to plant this whole area and to work this area. And if they are, great. If they're not, we're going to just come in, edit this, put in some additions here just to increase the amount of workers that each of them can have, and boost it up to the requirement to actually have this piece of land and this piece of land over here worked. But it should be fine. I don't see that we will have any issues there, and hopefully we can increase our grain production. But what we also want to have a look at is coming in here to our manor, going through to the Great Hall itself. So we're going to go here to edit building. We're going to go to the Great Hall, and we actually want to change this so that it functions as a different part of the building. And then we're going to build the Great Hall over on the island itself. So we're just going to come here, switch the function of this building. We're going to change this to a treasury so that it boosts our coin capacity. Like that. As you can see, it's now jumped up to 9,000. And then we'll come over here. Oh, look at that. Let's take that. It's a happiness boost. Fantastic. But we'll come over through to our manor here. We'll click edit, add a sub building, and we'll add in a great hall. There we go. We have a great hall ready to build, and a nice little addition here to our manor on the main island. Once this is constructed, we'll have everyone meeting up here as we've set everything up, and we have plenty of space for our treasury now as well. So all that's left to do is to just let this run its course. Now, while that is constructing, I do want to get into some additional things, such as actually setting up the garden for our manor here. So we're going to jump in here, we're going to select the bailiff's office, and then we're actually going to say edit building. And we're going to go through to the decorative side, and we're going to start making use of items here just to start constructing a nice garden around it, making use of this open space. And then because this is part of the bailiff's office, it will actually boost the prestige of it. And by boosting the prestige, we'll also get a higher level for our bailiff, which we can then replace to get an even better boost to our bailiff's abilities. So we're going to look at quickly setting up something, and then we'll look at setting up a new bailiff. There we are, a very simplistic little garden that we've built around our bailiff's office here. Now, some of the aspects, such as the statues, will actually require some marble, and we don't yet have a marble workshop. Although we do have marble as a raw resource, we just can't work with it yet. So we're just going to go over through to our district here. As you can see, we're keeping our marble over there. And all we're going to do is just grab one of our builder's huts or builder's workshops. We're going to bring it over. Going to shift it over to here. Say apply changes. And then we're going to go over through to our progression tab, and we're going to grab the sculpture workshop. And while we're at it, we're going to unlock glassworking as well. Great. Now with this, we can just go to our builder's warehouse or builder's workshop, sorry. Click on it, and we can add on these additional buildings to it. Now, you can add these on separately. I can't go too far because else it just doesn't work, so it does need to be within a certain range of your builder's workshop. But I think that should be fine. This should be a good little space here. Just going to slightly move these up a bit, and we're going to grab the glass workshop as well. I'm just going to set up a little corner here for this to operate in. There we go. Perhaps we can just edit this a little bit more. Just bring it in ever so slightly. Build kind of a U shape for it. There we go. That should be good to go. And we do have our marble warehouse over here. And we also have glass, so it's nice and close by. And we're going to keep this one just operating here non-stop. We'll put a priority on the build on this, and we'll keep that going. Now what we can do with the bailiff's office is we'll just keep an eye on this. As soon as this is done being constructed, what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll actually replace our bailiff. Because by doing that, we can get a bailiff that has bonuses to their abilities based on how much prestige this building has, which with this additional garden here should be quite a lot of prestige actually. Right, well, while that's all being constructed, we're going to wait for this to finish, as well as for our belfries to finish, and hopefully our little city is going to start looking really good really soon. Our farms are still being worked on, but we can come in and at least assign some workers to every one of these in the meantime, while we're waiting for construction to be completed. We've had a little bit of an event here pop up that says, now that your city has everything it needs to stand on its own, the elders believe it is time to earn the approval of the realm's most esteemed legislator. They suggest inviting the seneschal to stay for a few weeks and ensuring he feels welcome and comfortable in your city. Sure, well, the elders will expect you to invite the seneschal to stay for a few months. Let's discuss this again soon. We're going to give this a try. We're going to say that we're going to invite them. So sure, let them come on over. And then it actually gives you the option to invite them to stay. So we don't have to trigger this yet, but it is part of our quests. So before we trigger this, we want to make sure that we have our productions all up and running. All of our food production, that we have enough space in our inns and markets and all of that. Speaking of inns, we want to jump over through to the progression tab, and we might want to look at actually unlocking this. So we're going to push for a quest to give us enough of these labor influence coins so we can actually get the inn lodge and construct the inn lodge. because it has a certain function where you have visitors that come through to your settlement, they stay there, and if you're able to give them all the food that they want and keep their happiness high enough, then they leave happy and you get a good rating and a good buzz for your citizens from that. So we may want to look at setting up a proper inn first before we go and invite the seneschal to actually stay here. Things are building quite nicely though. We do just need to let stuff run. We are suffering a little bit with our stone production because we have had to pause this to actually get some of the raw stone up and going, because we're simply processing it way too quickly from the raw stone into polished stone. But that's okay. We're just going to let things run. We're going to take these immigrants as they come in, get all those workers that we need, and we'll be back as soon as things are good again. Our farms have been constructed and our new crop is in the ground growing. Our belfry towers have been constructed across our city, and the Great Hall on our manor is also done. So, what are we going to do next? Well, we're jumping over to the progression book over here, where we have unlocked the inn lodge and paved roads, and we're going to look at setting up an inn. I've left a little space over here specifically for that, and in order to do that, we're going to go through to build. We're going to set up a tavern, and in there will actually be the inn lodge itself. So what we want to do is just make sure that we have all of the additional things that will be required. So we're going to set up a small public lounge, a small service counter, and then a rather large inn lodge itself. We're setting it up here because it's going to be in close proximity to a well, a market, and what will eventually house our abbey as well. And it's also really close to the manor itself, so it'll have all the amenities necessary for anyone that will be visiting our city. I'm going to throw down a quick design over here. There we go, our inn has been set up. Now it just needs to be constructed, and it's going to take quite a bit of resources to build this, as we can see over here. A lot of interesting things as well, such as iron and marble are actually going into this construction, but we should be able to cover all of the costs, and our city will be all the better once it is completed. What we are going to do is take this one unemployed person though and just throw them in here just to start working, and we can allow that to slowly construct over time. Now what we're going to do while that's busy building is we're going to go in and start decorating. We're going to start over here all the way over at our first little district, and these little open patches between the houses, we're going to look at decorating that and adding in a little bit of beautification. After that, we'll jump through to this larger district over here. We might remove some of the empty houses. We'll just have to find ones that are not currently, like this one, that are not currently inhabited, break them down, and we'll actually come and do a little beautification there. Here's another one. It actually has one. Okay, we can look at this one, destroy it, and actually look at making them nice. We're just going to go and remove the center part here, just that new houses aren't constructed there. Then after that, we'll jump through to this massive district over here. Hopefully by then, once we've done decorating all of that, we'll hopefully have most of these houses upgraded and this inn constructed, and we can look at doing some beautification around here. And then we'll also go and do a little bit of decorating here in the industries over here, here, and by the food industries as well. And finally, we'll come over to this little small district here and do some beautification there as well. And we may as well come in and start decorating the bridges as well. You'll see if you go to edit building, you can actually add some banners and some torches onto the bridges. But we'll do that right at the end. For now, let's jump over right through to our first district over here, do some beautification on this, as well as the surrounding farms and pathways leading into the rest. We might as well just do this manor and the church as well. But right, enough talk, let's jump to it. There we are. Quite a bit of decoration has been done now, all in our starting off zones here on the mainland. And it's actually looking really good. If we go over here to this telescope and we switch on the beautification, we can actually see that we have really good coverage of all of these houses and some of the expanding outer areas as well. I just wanted to add a little bit of beautification to the outlying areas as well. These little walkways, pathways, and the entrance to our city. But with that all done, it is time now to jump over to the island and start working on beautification here. Now, one thing that I definitely want to start doing here as well at the same time is to go over through to our buildings, and we're actually going to start with the paving as well. As you can see here in the progression, we've actually unlocked it. So we're going to use that paviour's yard and actually start paving all of the roads here on the island itself. So in order to do that, what we've done is we've taken the paviour's yard here and we've placed it down in our district. And then what we'll do with this is we'll go in and paint all of these streets, and it will slowly replace all the streets with nice cobblestone streets. What we can also start doing then, while that's happening, is we'll come in and start adjusting the beautification of this zone. I've also gone ahead and moved the village center over here, so we can set up a nice village square here next to the manor and the market. We can go in and create a nice little graveyard as well around this church, and within the gaps, such as over here, here, there, and over there, we can set up nice little public gardens and beautification zones to really bring out the most in our little city over here. And finally, our island is nicely decorated. We're just waiting for a couple of these things to still be constructed. Just some small decorations that still need some stone or wood. Those that don't instantly build, but that's okay, we can give that some time to build. Because we're going to jump over here to the paint tool and grab the road paving tool. Now what we're going to do with this is actually designate areas that are going to be paved. So for this we want to come in and grab all of our housing districts. So we're going to grab this. We're going to leave the industrial areas for the time being, but in the future we will also come in and pave those as well. There we go, like such. And what will happen is that our pavers will actually come in and they'll start paving these roads and replacing the dirt with cobblestone roads instead. It really looks nice, and it's actually a requirement to increase your housing quality as well. So you can get better quality housing and the buildings themselves change and look a lot better. So if we can do this across our whole island, I'll be very happy. I'm not too concerned about the housing districts on the mainland for the time being, but in the future we will also want to have a look at those and paving those streets as well. Now it is quite a lot of stone, so don't expect this to be done anytime soon, but it is something to keep an eye out for in the future. Now it's just a little bit here, there we go, and that's our whole housing district set up to be paved. Fantastic, very happy with that. Well, I think that this is actually quite a lot of progress for this episode, so I think we're going to wrap things up here, and in the next episodes we're going to look at filling in these two gaps here in our city. Big things to come, so be sure to check that out. But that's all the time we have for today's episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, as that would greatly help the channel. If you'd like to be kept updated as to new videos being released, then please hit that notification bell. If you have any feedback, suggestions or requests, leave a comment down below and let us know. Until next time, this is Roast Temp. Keep cooking.